Hey guys, it's Hope here, and welcome to your weekly energy update. This is for November 9th through the 15th. Now, this weekly update is more of a personal update, whereas the monthly I do a collective. And the difference is that on the personal one, this is how you work with the energy individually instead of as a whole collective. So even though it applies to you individually, right? And then towards the end, I will do an energy update for each element. So we're going to do fire, water, air, and earth. So you're going to want to stay tuned for that.
Hi, I'm Hope, and I'm an energy guide and holistic life coach. And on this channel, I share with you how I work with crystals like this and these to deliver messages and insights that can inspire you and me and the rest of the world as we move along our journey.
Okay, let's get going. This time I'm going to go ahead and draw them live here. Last time I had pre-drawn them and kind of laid them out already to get started, but I thought you guys might appreciate the process. So I do have them in a container and I just mix them around. I can't see them. The lid's closed. I'm going to close my eyes and choose and toss them out on the board. So this is our energy update for November 9th, and it'll go for the whole week. And then, like I said, at the end, we're going to choose stones for each of the elements. And you can choose your element based on your zodiac sign. You can choose it based on the one you resonate with, just whatever you choose to do. But, you know, since the crystals are an earth element, I thought it was kind of nice to do elements rather than zodiac signs. And let's see, that one. Okay, so this is going to be the general part for everyone. And then I'll break it down by the elements, air, fire, water, earth, as we move forward. Okay, so let's see what we have here. Interesting. Okay, so we have malachite. We have an orange banded agate. We have lepidolite. We have Apache tear, hematite, a red tiger's eye, and a yellow dendritic agate. Okay. So I've got some really unique crystals in my collection. Most of them have kind of made their way to me. Some of them I have purchased, but many of them kind of made their way to me. And this is one of the ones that just sort of made its way to me. Actually, this tiger's eye too. So if you don't see some of these in your local store, that's why. So I have over 80 in my collection. So no two readings will ever be alike. Okay, guys, so this is really, really interesting. So what I'm seeing here is that we have a huge opportunity and things are going to start moving again. So if you thought things were a little stuck and a little stagnant, things are heating up. So we've got malachite, which is all about transition, but we've got this orange banded agate here, which means that not only are you going through like a personal transition or a personal revolution, you've got the opportunity to really take action on something either creative or something that you've been putting off that you really want to get started on now. So I would say, where are you being called to take things to the next level? Where are you being called to up your game? Where are you being called to do more with something than you have been doing? Like, you're capable of more. Where can you do more? And lepidolite comes in and it says like, hey, quit playing the victim. Like, there's no more excuses. Like, you can't say this isn't your fault or it's so-and-so's issue or someone else is to blame. Like you're getting called out on this. And it's like, where can you take this energy of transition, this internal revolutionary energy, and use it to create something and get out of a rut of excuses and get out of the same old and move forward with some new activities, okay? And then Apache tear comes in, and Apache tear says, it's time to change your stories. So where we were going, we all have childhood issues or we all have past or whatever. And Apache tear is just a reminder that says, whatever story you've been telling yourself or others about your past, your childhood, what happened, that can all be changed. We've got an opportunity for a new timeline here. So rewrite your story. Like, don't play victim anymore. Quit playing small. If you don't like the way things were, change it in your mind. So, instead of, this really horrible negative story about how, things didn't go your way or whatever, change that story to say like that was a learning opportunity. So switch that around to something more positive and believe it, and it will change the opportunities that come to you. Now, when we're looking over here at hematite, hematite is all about protection and grounding, which means things are going to really be solid, but it also brings in new opportunities in a business sense, or in a entrepreneurial sense, or a action in the world. And then with tiger's eye, this red tiger's eye is all about fiery action. Like, let's get going. It's time to get going. And this may be in tune with Mars getting ready to start moving direct again. And I believe that's on the 13th. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's the 13th. So that is right in time. So this is like, you know, things are changing on an inner level. Where are you being called to do more? Where have you been playing small? How can you get out of that shell? Quit playing victim, change the stories, get grounded, take action, right? And what's really interesting is that we've got this yellow dendritic agate, like hanging out in the middle of all of this. See this kind of arch over it, and this is hanging out in the middle. And I gotta tell you guys, when I see this yellow dendritic agate, I'm thinking of the lotus flower, okay? So lotus flower starts growing like down in the muck of the pond, of the lake, whatever, like in the stagnant water in the bottom where it's all kind of gross and icky. And the lotus flower takes root down there at the bottom, and it follows the sun like all the way to the top. And when it reaches the top and it reaches the sun, it makes this beautiful flower, okay? So this stone talks about, where have you come from? What have you gone through that's going to make your life so much better because of it, right? What lessons have you learned? What can you take out of all the crap you've been through and save those good pieces and change the story on the rest and leave it behind? Because you know what? The past is in the past. Like, we literally cannot change the past, but we can change what we think about it. And so here's that lesson here. Okay, so we're going to pull a couple stones for fire and see what take fire has on this. So I'm just going to grab just a couple more and see, like, okay, fire says, fire says your abundance comes from your creativity. So for you fire signs, and the fire signs are Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. So for you fire signs, or if you resonate with fire, or your ascendant is in a fire sign, this is saying that when you can take creative action, when you can use courage to get out of your shell and do something really, really creative, that creativity sparks your soul. So it's an expression of you. It's an outlet and it's an expression. So when you can use your creativity, it creates an abundance for you that goes beyond just material. Because of where this kind of shows up here, this is telling me that when you can be creative, it changes how you receive. Okay, so when you can use your creative energy, it puts you in a place of like appreciation because you love what you're doing, and then that in turn creates that flow of energy that allows it to like come right back, because you're just so in the moment when you're creating that the energy is flowing, and it allows for that abundance to come right back to you, right? So when we're not being creative, you fire signs this week, when you're not being creative, you're putting up that block. You're kind of like wishing you were somewhere else. You're wishing you were doing something else. And when you allow yourself to have that creative flow, that changes the energy dynamic, like in a really good way. Okay, so that's for energy. I'm going to pick up, that's for fire. I'm going to pick up the two stones we use for fire. And now we're going for air. So air are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Or if you resonate with air, or you have an air rising sign like I do. So air signs, what have we got going on for these air signs? Here we go. Damn, guys. Okay, when Petersite comes in, it clears stagnant energy, and it brings in light energy, light codes into the body so that you can start, so you can move the stagnant energy. Oh, sorry, that's what I'm trying to say. So Petersite comes in like a lightning bolt, and it brings in light energy to the body so that you can alchemize anything negative and bring in that extra insight and intuition. So Petersite's all about using your gifts. Maybe you have some clairs. If you don't know the clairs, that's clairaudient, clairvoyant, right? Claircognizant, clairsentient, right? So that just allows you to use your psychic abilities, your magic, right? So so for you air signs, Petersite's coming in and it's saying like trust your instincts, go with your gut, do what you think is right this week, and really tap into that. So we've got a lot of light codes and activations coming in right now. So the energy for that is crazy. So that means you're getting like the upgrades. So tap into that. And with Lapis up here, this is also talking about communication with the higher realm. So that is your higher self, any galactic connections that you have, any spirit guides, and departed loved ones even. So spirit. So just be aware that you may be receiving signs and messages regarding your next path. Now, obviously, this general reading applies to everyone, and then this is like on top of that. So that's huge, Air. That's really exciting. All right, so we're going to head on into Earth. Draw a couple crystals for Earth. I kind of like this better than the way I did it last week. So we like do the general reading, and then we just add on a couple for each one. So you can just listen to the general, or you can pick your element too and go with that. So what have we got for Earth today? All right, Earth, here we go. Ooh, very nice. Okay, my Earth signs, you are being asked to connect with your animal spirit guides because you've got leopard skin jasper here with sodalite. So sodalite's all about communication. It's about the throat chakra, and the leopard skin jasper is about connecting with animals and connecting with your animal totems and your spirit guides. So it's also a very strong connection to Earth. So if you resonate with, spending time with your pets, connecting with your animal instincts, so doing what you feel is right. It may also be connecting with, if you have any like shamanistic type ritual things that you like to do, like burning incense, using Palo Santo, if you have feathers, like those kinds of things. So it's just telling you to connect with those nature elements and animal elements. So be watchful for signs, especially since it landed just almost right on top of this sodalite. Sodalite's all about writing and speaking. So if you can connect that way and then allow your communications to flow, maybe try some automatic writing, or really be watching for signs, because sodalite can be I'm communicating or I'm being communicated with. It can be conversations. So be mindful of that. Sodalite also helps you make decisions. So if you have some decisions around this transformation going on this week, it wouldn't hurt to maybe try automatic writing, or sit down with pen and paper or a journal and make a checklist, or just, journal about it and be writing about it. Yeah, yours is a little bit more quiet, so maybe you need a little bit of sort of meditative time with all this crazy energy going on to ground yourself and to, sit with your pets, or work with your spirit animals, and do some decision making and communicating. And then, of course, if you need to communicate with a friend or a relative, let them know you need to vent and you want to talk for a little bit. So that would be a good process for you to work through this as well. So I hope that resonates. We're moving on to water is our last one. So I'm going to pull a couple stones for water. Now I'm not putting these back in, so we can't pull the same ones again in this same reading. So I'll be pulling two separate ones for water. So we're just going to mix them up here. Again, I'm not looking. I never do, because, there's no way to shuffle stones. Like when you're working with cards, you can turn them over so you can't see them, or you can shuffle them. It doesn't work with stones. So you have to not look and just kind of like reach your hand in and pull out the one that you touch. So here we go for water. What have we got? Okay. So for water, we have a smoky quartz point and we have black tourmaline. So water people, what's going on? We need some grounding. Are you feeling a little overstimulated? Maybe like there's too much emotion going on. Maybe you're empathic if you're picking up a lot of what's going on around you. Or maybe you're empathic and don't know it, which is fine. You don't have to go, look it up and try to figure out what that is. Just be aware that you may be picking up emotions and dispositions from other people. So, if you come home and you're like, God, I was fine when I left the house and I came back from this event or the store or whatever, and I feel all discombobulated now and I just don't feel right. Ground yourself. Okay. So for you guys, this is also about water. So if you need to take a bath in Epsom salts, you can get it really cheap at the grocery store. You don't need the fancy smelly kind, but just take a nice hot bath in Epsom salts, soak in it for like 10, 15, 20 minutes. And that will ground you. You can also work with any grounding crystals. Any of the black crystals will ground you. Here in Colorado, it's kind of cold, so there's not a lot of gardening going on. But anytime you can take a walk in nature or, work in the dirt or the soil or your houseplants, that's going to be very grounding for you as well. And now we've got this smoky quartz point here. So this, and the way it's positioned here with everything else, that it's on this side of it, this kind of tells me that you're working on transmuting energy and you're working on taking some really negative stuff that's been inside. You're working on taking some negative aspects and finding ways to turn them into positive. So it looks like it's been pretty emotional for you lately. So just really, really work on your grounding and know that whatever you're going through personally is a process for you. And it's part of this lotus flower to come out of your negative situations and turn them into something positive, and understand that the things you have been through, the things you have gone through really help you to become the person you are becoming. So it's because of those that you are who you are. So they come in for a reason, even though they're challenging, and even though being around other people sometimes can be a little bit draining, it's all to help you understand and alchemize that energy. So take some time to really do some grounding if this action stuff gets to be too much for you, and if it gets to be too much to be around other people. So I hope that resonated with you guys. If you ever want to get your own personal session with me, you can reach me at crystalearthenergetics.com. And if this resonated with you, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe down below. I really appreciate it. Have an awesome week.